Welcome to Grilling to Get Away, the podcast for backyard grillers who want to escape the everyday and fire up the flavor. Whether you're a seasoned pitmaster or just learning your way around the grill, we're here to share tips, tricks, and recipes that will make your next BBQ unforgettable. We'll talk meats, marinades, and even some mouth-watering sides. Plus, we'll answer your grilling questions and dive into everything you need to turn your backyard into the ultimate grill zone. So grab your tongs, fire up that grill, and let's get started. This is Grilling to Get Away, your go-to podcast for all things barbecue. Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Greg, your co-host to the Grilling to Get Away podcast, here with my buddy.
Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is Ben.
Ben, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just living it up.
Glad you could join us for our weekly barbecuing and grilling podcasts. I know you're in the Navy training mode right now, so everything's just kind of like process and order and getting things done, right?
Yes, that's exactly what it is, man.
Good. Me too. Yeah, same here in the business. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm getting a lot of emails and
hey, don't look at those. You're supposed to be off, okay? You're supposed to be gone. You can look at them when you get back.
Greg, you did it again.
Yeah, man, I've been sauce making mode, cranking out maple whiskey sauces, so we'll have those ready to go for our fundraiser coming up in a few weeks, and then we'll ship out those pre-orders. Got quite a bit of pre-orders, so
heck yeah. I strategically planned coming to training around that. So,
I know, I figured, yeah.
Not as dumb as I look, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, good, man. Well, I'm glad you had a couple minutes here to jump on the podcast and chat a little bit. What have you been up to?
Dude, so I went to on Sunday. I was kind of day to get ready for the week a bit, right?
Okay.
Just gearing up. It's my final week out here, so I have to come back again. But I was driving around one of the other days and I saw this place. It's called Becky's Barbecue. And I was like,
okay.
Oh. So I pulled it up online and stuff, and I was like, well, I don't really want to keep going to the galley for everything. So I was like, you know what? On Sunday, like I'll kind of I'll head over there. I'll get some food and I'll maybe kind of check the place out, but decide. Okay. I was going to eat there or bring it back to my room. Ultimately, I ended up bringing it back to my room.
Yeah, so you could eat in peace?
Well, dude, no one was in there. So I was like, man, I don't know if this is a great sign, So it was like it opened at noon, and I went like around like 3.
Okay.
And like I said, dude, like I was, when I was going in, there was like one car parked out in the parking lot, and I kind of scoped out like the menu a little bit before I went. And so I decided that I was going to go in. I wasn't fully decided. I'll take that back. But I kind of knew what I wanted, like walking in and stuff, man. So I ended up going like with 2 meats and 2 sides.
Oh, right.
So I went with meats? Heck yeah, dude. So it wasn't like too bad, man. It was like, you had some choices. It was, you had brisket, ribs, I think pulled chicken or like pulled pork. So they also had wings on their menu, and like they said, they're award-winning wings. All right.
You didn't try them?
Dude, I didn't need 3 meats, man.
Oh well, you've changed in the weeks.
The wings, you couldn't add the wings like on. It was like the wings were separate.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
how they get you.
Yeah, it is smart.
Yeah. It's not part of the meats, so you gotta order it separately,
Yep.
and you can't just get one wing. You gotta get more.
Yeah, well, I might have gone wings too, man. Had I like when I got there, they had like a chalkboard up, and they had a bunch of stuff written on the chalkboard that like wasn't on the menu, so it kind of threw me for a loop. They had like probably like I don't know, at least 15 different sauces and stuff for the wings. They had riblets, which I would imagine are the same as like rib tips, right? So I was like, dude, I almost got those. I was like, man, focus.
Yeah. What'd you get?
They had like, what's that?
What'd you get?
Dude, yeah, so I told you well, I didn't tell you. I went with the ribs and the brisket.
Okay.
And then for the sides, didn't really have too many options, it didn't seem like, but I got the mac and cheese and the baked beans. And then
Ooh.
they had a big piece of cornbread in there too. So I was like, "Ooh, all right."
Yeah,
So
so you got the ribs, you got brisket. What so how let's start with the ribs. How like were they sauced and not sauced? How did that go?
they were not sauce. They gave me like two little things of sauce like in my to-go container.
Okay. Did you try
One
them?
was like a spicy, one was like kind
Mm,
of they were more kind of like a vinegar base. But yeah, one was spicy, one was a little bit more of like a traditional, a little bit thicker and stuff. Um, they were fun. They were good. I like the
yeah.
spicy one. I think I like the spicy one better.
Okay. And then how was the brisket?
Dude, man. So I called you about this real quick. I like last night I had some things to go over with you.
I wanted
But
to save it for the podcast so we can
exactly.
share. Yeah.
So I didn't say anything, but dude, like the brisket was kind of it was dry, man. And like
Mm.
I don't know, like it wasn't warm. So it's like maybe if I had gotten there like kind of right at like 12:30, it would have been a different story. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I kind of talked to you about this, dude, and stuff, but like I don't, and we've talked about this too, like when you've gone to places and
Mm.
ordered, like barbecue places, like when you were in like Tennessee and stuff, and you text me, you're like, dude, got the brisket,
Yeah.
man, but it was like dry, like
Mm.
it was along the same lines, man. Like it had good flavor. I don't know what kind of wood they were using or anything like that. I'm guessing kind of hickory.
Mm.
I don't know, maybe oak, but like it was, there wasn't like. There wasn't much of like a smoke ring to it. There was like the bark was pretty like hard at that point.
Yeah, yeah. Like
I ate
jerky.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I ate it. It was good. Like I just dipped it in the
Mm.
barbecue sauce. But like, dude, I'll be honest. Like when I get brisket, like I really don't want to be dipping it in like barbecue sauce.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and
No,
like
that's
I just don't know. I don't know if man if it's like brisket to me is just I take it or leave it. It's kind of where I'm at with brisket right now. You know?
yeah, and I know that's a lot of people kind of feel the same way. Like, they because what originally brisket was like a throwaway cut of meat, back in the day
Mhm.
before somebody decided like I'm gonna smoke this for like 20 hours and see how it goes.
Yeah.
So, it comes from the origins of like just being a throwaway meat because it was so tough, but you had to cook it
Mhm.
for so long. And I've seen other people say the same thing. So I don't think you're alone in that. Like, brisket is, kind of a trendy piece right now, but you know, there are a lot of other cuts of meat that are just, I think, as good, that, maybe don't take as much time and really aren't as expensive as it is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, we hear a lot I think when we're like out at events and stuff, a lot of people kind of talk about to us about brisket and stuff and how it's the best or, it melts in your mouth and stuff. And it's like, like I said, I mean, I'm going to this one and stuff. It didn't melt in my mouth. So,
Mm.
um, but like, I don't know. The ribs were good. They had good
Yeah.
flavor to them. The beans were solid. Mac and cheese was okay.
It's kind of hard to mess up beans.
Yeah, I mean they put their own little spin and kind of flavor to it and stuff, which I appreciated.
Mm.
But it's funny, like I asked one of our instructors uh if he had been to Becky's, and he's like, I was there. What did he say? He was like, I was there before they got new owners. I was like, oh,
Ah,
okay.
okay.
And and I go and like I asked him, I was like, so like have you gone back since they like since then? He's like, or I asked him something. I was like, what'd you think of it? I was like, when you went, like, what'd you think of it? He goes, I haven't been back. So,
Yeah.
but like again, dude, it kind of comes back to like I think that's kind of tough. Like cooking brisket, cooking ribs like on a Sunday morning, getting ready for like the day, the weekend and stuff. Like to me, like how do you plan for that, right? Like either you're
Mm.
gonna have leftovers or you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like either you sell until it's gone. And if it's, what do you do if it sits around for like a few hours, like,
Well, I mean, you were there at like 3 and it opened at noon, right? You
yep,
said like
yep.
so. that's a little like, so when I went to that place in Tennessee, like we didn't get there till like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. And,
Yeah.
you know, I was expecting it to be, kind of drier and stuff. I know, because a lot of these places, as soon as they open up, they sell
Mhm.
out or whatever, and whatever they don't sell out, obviously they
Yeah.
have left over. Um, so yeah, the brisket that I had when I went to that place in Tennessee, it was warm, it was decent flavor. You can almost taste the propane on it.
Yeah.
Like you could see it in the back spinning. They got like one of those rotisserie things, like the big ones, right? The big ones
Yeah.
where like it's like a carnival ride going around.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm sure there's some smoke that gets in there, but you don't, like you said, you don't get the smoke ring. It's totally different. I get it. You're cooking for the masses, so like you have to make some compromises, and some of that's going to be probably taste a little bit, right? Because you gotta pump out so much.
Like freshness. It's a quality of freshness,
Yeah, but yours is like it's only a few hours after they open. I mean, should still be fairly fresh unless they're like pulling it from maybe the day before.
I don't know, man.
Mm,
Yeah, like I didn't ask, obviously. I mean, I just kind of grabbed and left. Maybe next
that's
time if
a
I go back, I'll get the wings,
uh,
test those out.
test
So
those out. Maybe there's a little
yeah,
bit better.
maybe, but like, like I said, I like getting back to like the whole brisket thing, dude. Like, I don't know, like I said, man, like I'm never like, oh, it's got to be brisket. Brisket's the only
Hmm.
thing I'm gonna cook. That's just not. I'm not gonna be like that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. Um, I always like a good rib.
Hmm.
I always like to see what other things they have going on. Like
Hmm.
I usually will try some of that mac and cheese because everybody puts a little different spin on their mac and cheese. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like if they have some sausage, I'll definitely try whatever smoked sausages they got because that's
Yeah.
kind of we don't get that a lot around here.
They had kielbasa. They had to kill the
Yeah,
smoked kielbasa and stuff
yeah,
on the menu. I didn't get that though,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah. So yeah, well, you got out there, you tried something. So we won't post a link to it because obviously we not a glowing review, but hopefully it gets better for him.
No, like I said, it's not like completely shut off to me and stuff. Like,
Yeah, definitely try it again.
yeah, I'd definitely try it again. But
Mm.
like, I don't know, man. Like, I think it's more so for me too. Like, it's not. It's like when like if I'm going to a barbecue place, like I don't know if I'm gonna get brisket, man. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
it's almost like Greg. I think it's along the lines of, dude, like it gets talked up like so much, and like so then your expectations get so high. And does it ever like I don't know, man? It never really meets like those high expectations and stuff. And it's just like you know,
That's a good point. And like even for me, like when I cook my own, like
right?
I just spent like 12 hours doing this thing, and this is what it is. Dang it,
Yeah,
man! You did it again.
yeah.
You
You,
messed it
you
up
got me
again.
again, brisket. You got me again.
But everybody else loves it, and I'm just like, man, it could be so much better.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I think it's just like this is kind of our personalities is like
maybe.
like we could do it at home, and not be pleased with it. We could go out expect something great. I don't know if I've ever had a brisket from some place that was just like out of my mind.
Mhm.
You know,
Out of this
but
world. Yeah, I would agree, dude. Like I would agree. I don't know if I've ever been like just blown over the top by like brisket. So.
yeah,
But dude, I did want to ask you, like, have you? So I saw, like I said, dude, they had I was kind of bummed because they didn't have like rib tips on the menu. So I was like,
okay,
all right, but I've been thinking a lot about rib tips, man. Have you ever done
really,
rib tips? Yeah, I don't know why. I saw it when we were in college, dude, my dad came and helped me move out of one of our like an apartment, and there was this place kind of down, not too far, over by Lake Michigan, like downtown Kenosha. Not downtown, but like kind of a little bit north on the north side, not far from school, right? And dude, it was a barbecue place, and my dad and I went and we got food and it's from there, and he got rib tips, and like I don't really remember ever like having like rib tips all that much as like a kid or anything like that, like cooking and stuff. So like, have you ever made rib tips at home like yourself?
man. No, I honestly no, I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't either, dude.
It's just been like no, it's just something like I really haven't had like a want to do, I guess, or a need to do it. Yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
I've had them a few times, but yeah, again, it wasn't one of those where like, oh man, I need to go home and try these, or
Sure.
like I didn't see like a recipe somewhere. I was like, oh, I need to try some rib tips. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So no, I haven't. So
Dude, I haven't either. I've only seen it like I've only like kind of had them like maybe two, max three times. And like I said, it's been a while since I've had them.
sure, sure, yeah, man. So yeah, I haven't, and I don't know. Maybe one day. Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, man. That's kind of, I was like, I don't know. I was like, man, I'll have to talk to Greg about rib tips and kind of
sure,
see what he says or what he thinks. So,
yeah, yeah. No rib tips for me. But I did get a chance to do some burgers on Sunday. The boys asked for them, so I did some burgers hot and fast, um, which got me kind of thinking a little bit, like because I was going back. You know, we we've been in business for 5 years now, and I was looking at our first blog post, and like our first recipe that we did together was beer can chicken. I don't know if you remember coming over to my house, and we did the beer can chicken, and the way I set it up was like indirect grilling, with coals on each side, and we put the chicken in the middle. But I did like my burgers with just a two zone fire, and I saw a couple questions in other groups that I follow about like how to keep temperature, or how to how much charcoal you should be using, like for like something like indirect grilling or something like that.
yeah.
So I thought maybe we could chat about that just a little bit.
Yeah, dude.
So like first things, like we usually just we're talking kind of like charcoal, or I guess you could take this away for stick burner or gas grilling as well. But usually like if I'm doing a two zone fire, because I want a cool space, man. I don't want it all
Yeah.
just blazing hot. You know what I mean?
I mean, this even worse on like what, like yeah, I can't think of the name. The griddles,
The griddles, yeah, the Blackstones,
the Blackstones. Yeah. It even
yeah.
worse than the Blackstones, right? Because you still have like your burners and stuff, right? It's almost along the same lines of like those gas grills and stuff. And it's the same concept. You're doing burgers out there, right? You kind of want like your hot spot, like your hot zones, and then they're kind of your cooler zones where it's
Yeah.
not just going to keep cooking.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking at that picture. Like, I haven't done like, because I love the Weber kettles because they have the flip up grates where I can replenish the coals inside. Because I usually, if I'm doing a two zone fire, the middle is empty, and then the outsides have the coals in them because I got some coal baskets that stay in there. Otherwise, you can just use like a tin or something to keep the coals out of there, or bricks. I've seen some people use bricks to kind of make a little, pocket on each side or whatever. But you don't have to do it that way. You could do it like where you have all the coals on the one side and then just have a open zone on the other side. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, and I've seen, I've done it in the past too, where I just put the whatever chunk of meat, whether it be like a Christmas ham or like a pork shoulder, on that side, or in the middle in between the two zones. So you can actually smoke meats on the Weber kettle. I know a lot of people don't understand that or know that.
Yeah, dude. It's funny, especially like if you're, I kind of go back to like when you're cooking for parties. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, especially if you're doing like a lot, for let's say, I don't know, 10, 12, like 10 to 15 plus burgers, right? For like kind of, like birthday parties or something like that, man. I mean, you just did it. We just kind of talked about that not too long ago, I think, when the boys had their party or whatever. And, you're kind of rotating things in and out, and, you want to make sure everything's done, right? But not
Mm-hmm.
overly cooked and then like still warm, right? So, I mean, it's not easy. It's kind of a tricky like combination to try and like to get, but
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely doable, right? So like kind of you mentioned, man, like you have those zones, you kind of start off, maybe you start off on the kind of the cooler zone, let them smoke for a little bit, move them over, char them up a touch, then move them back, get your cheese on there, and like just have like a constant like rotation and stuff. One thing I will say too, man, like like you and I used to do this a lot more, like when we were like, we don't have typically the same kind of parties anymore like we used to for like the kids' birthdays and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. But I know like, man, we would a lot of times, like we'd grill or do something. I'd be like, hey man, I'm gonna go out to the grill and stuff. You want to come with me? And it was like, I need your help now, but probably. It's
Yeah,
always good to have someone like a second eye there to be like, oh, dude, this one looks like it's getting kind of close, or like maybe move this one over and stuff, or even just like the
yeah,
help, like, someone to hold like the tin, or
yeah.
it's a lot better having, I'd say, someone out there like with you, kind of helping. Again, just
Mhm.
to like, someone who's who you trust, who you can be like, hey,
Yeah,
check that one, or like, hey, yeah, that one's solid, man. We're good. We can pull that one, right? Or
yeah. Or
man,
even like,
I leave that
man,
one out another little longer.
yeah. What do you think? Just like, hey, what do you think, man? Like,
Yeah,
or especially cooking for like a lot of people, like we do our parties and stuff, and sometimes it's
yep,
like, hey, man, I just I just ask you, just like, I think I know what I'm doing, like, but then I was just like, hey, man, that's what I think I'm doing.
yeah.
What do you think? Just to see like
Well,
a different perspective on it, like,
just to bounce
so,
it off to somebody else and stuff, like,
yeah,
this is how I was thinking about doing it. And then sometimes too, like as I'm saying, I'm like, oh, that's a stupid idea, man.
yeah,
What do you
yeah.
like? Wait, never mind. Not gonna do that.
Happens a lot, doesn't it?
Sure does, man. Sure does.
Yeah,
So I'm just
yeah.
like, no, I'm probably not gonna run it that way. So I think that, having kind of that plan in place and someone who can kind of help you kind of carry that out. Or like
Mhm.
even too, because at those parties, man, I had to get stuck talking to somebody and he'd be like, hey
I
man,
know
we
you
gotta
got,
go check the grill.
yeah,
God,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I gotta go do the grill.
We got the
So it's
timer
like,
on. We gotta go
yeah,
check it
hey,
out.
what are you
Yeah,
doing? Focus,
yeah,
focus, hocus pocus, let's all focus, dummy. Like,
yeah. That's a good point because like when
yeah,
you're around, like when you're doing the grilling, man, and especially if you're doing a big one or if there's a lot of people, like people want to come up and talk to you and stuff like that,
yeah,
and you gotta be there paying attention, or you gotta like have somebody that's can take over for you.
yep,
Like when we were doing the pig for that graduation party, we had all those chickens and stuff, but people
yeah,
constantly came up to talk to us, like, and
mhm,
thankfully there's two of us there because then we,
yeah,
one could, talk to the people and maybe explain what we were doing, and the other one could go spritz or move
yeah,
coals around and make sure like we're and check the temperature, like make sure we're on time and temp. So especially when you're cooking for a lot of people, like you want to make sure maybe you have an extra set of hands there until you get really good at it, which I can manage pretty good now.
mhm,
A whole grill full of thing, but it helps when you have like those, like I said, you have a cool zone and a hot zone, and not
mhm,
just one zone of
yep,
just hot coals.
hot. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a dangerous game, man. Because it's like you might be good at first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like it's gonna catch you. It's gonna
Can
catch you
get out of
because
hand quick.
yeah, and then you're gonna get, if you're doing like kind of burgers, especially like
Mm-hmm.
frozen burgers, man, like they're just it's gonna burn. Your outside's gonna be burnt to hell, and then the inside's still gonna just be like either raw or it's just,
Yeah.
even like hot dogs, right? Like hot dogs can get away from you real fast. So, like you think, oh,
Oh,
it's not
for
too
sure.
bad. They can turn, and then you're just
And then you're getting the pizza out of the freezer,
sure are.
put
Yep.
it in the oven. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting though. Like, in my, I don't know if I talked about this, but like my dad was also asking about like, we've talked about it a lot. Like we've talked and we have blog posts out there and we write about it, like, um, the snake method,
Yep.
with coals and stuff like that. Maybe we'll go a little bit more in depth with that because my dad was asking me questions because he's got a couple of charcoal grills now, and he's kind of getting a little bit more into it. So um, I think maybe one of these episodes we'll go more into that method because I've also been seeing like people have been saying like, well, when that next lineup of coals gets lit, that it sets off the dirty smoke and all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of science behind that piece, and
Yeah.
and
We'll have to do a little bit of research before we dive
yeah,
down there.
yeah, but no, I was just like a lot of good questions. A lot of people still out there, as much as we hear about people buying pellets and Blackstones and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of people out there buying charcoal grills, getting started, and trying to do a lot of cool things on them. So I see a lot of questions out there, like what, like the Weber kettle, like they have their own like group page. It has like hundreds of thousands of people on there. They're always asking questions, so it's always good for me to kind of go and see what people are talking about
Mhm.
so we can talk about stuff on the podcast. But the 3 and then 2 zone fires, two zone is pretty much what I do is like coals on one side, open on the other side. The
Yeah.
threes, yeah, the 3 zone is more gradual, so you have like a lot of coals on one end, then it goes a little bit less kind of towards the middle, and then you have the open end on the other side. So, that's, Steven Reichland talks about that. Our best friend Steven talks about that in his books a lot, the 3-zone fires, but I do a lot of 2-zone.
Yeah, I'd say those are the two I probably use the most, especially with, smoking on the Weber, like the kettle and stuff like that. Like, what if I'm doing something like that, right? Like a chuck roast, dude.
Mm.
I'm kind of using more like that 3-zone method and stuff, and just kind of keeping it away and then just letting it just roll, you know. So yeah, man. But I mean, yeah, like you can even if you're doing like a birthday party like that, right? Like having those 2, 3-zone fires and stuff, and kind of just knowing the difference, right? And like kind of the why behind it and stuff will, like, man, I promise it'll save you, because it's
Yeah.
definitely saved me before too. And I've done it the same way, where like, I'm like, oh dude, I got to do all these burgers, right? I'm just going to load this grill up and stuff. And like, it's
Yeah.
not the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I just want to talk through that a little bit. Make sure that you understand your grill. Make sure you have open, like, cool spots so you can, move pieces of meat. Especially like if
Mhm.
we're doing burgers, man, and like you get a flare up or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
you can easily move them off that flare up and move them to a cool side,
Mhm.
so you're not charring it too bad. And
Well, and then too, right? Like, that's a great point too, man. Because like, dude, you're getting those flare ups and stuff. Like, I mean, that's an easy way for like a really bad day really fast, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
if you
man.
have your grill just full like that, you've got nowhere to put them.
Hmm.
There's nowhere for them to go, and now you're in trouble.
Hmm.
And you can
Yep.
get hurt. We talked to people who've got like crazy burns and stuff just from from those kind of flare ups and stuff. It's like, what do they call them, like fireballs. You open up the lid, it's just like
Yeah.
whoosh. It's
Yeah.
like, you lose your eyebrows and stuff,
Yeah, for
and yeah,
sure. Yeah.
it's not like I said, dude. Especially if you're doing like a party and stuff, man. You don't want that.
Yeah. Well, good. Thanks for talking through that with me. And maybe when you come back, maybe we'll get together and we'll talk maybe a little bit more about the snake method and the minion method, some other alternatives to just like the 2-zone, because like I like those because you don't have to lift up the lid too much and you don't have to
But
replenish as much because you're stacking them ahead of time. Where like if I'm doing indirect grilling just straight up, and I'm flipping up the grates on the Weber, like if I'm doing a long cook, so let's say like if I'm doing a beer can chicken, it's a little bit longer. I guess that's not, but like if I'm doing like a pork shoulder or something like that, that's maybe 8 or 9 pounds, and I'm doing my initial cold dump, but then every hour I have to go out there to add 6 to 7 per
mhm.
side coals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So you're constantly having to replenish if you're just doing strict kind of indirect grilling, but if you're using like the snake method or the minion method or something like that, um, you don't have to replenish as much and you don't have to babysit it as much. So maybe we could talk through that a little more.
yeah, yeah, man.
But I did. The youngest is back from his summer vacations with the grandparents, and he picked out chicken drumsticks. So
Oh,
we got those in the freezer. I don't know what I'm going to do with those yet, but man, I've been seeing a lot of like hot honey recipes out there.
okay.
You got the hot honey chicken. Because people go to Popeyes and Chick-fil-A, and now I guess like KFC has them and stuff. So
They got hot Dave's hot chicken
Dave's
or
hot
something
chicken,
like that
yeah,
out here. Yeah,
yeah.
I haven't tried it. I don't know.
So like everybody's doing their take, like their own take on these, like chicken sandwiches or whatever. So it got me thinking, maybe do some hot honey ribs, maybe do some hot honey um, beer can chicken, maybe do a hot honey um, these drumsticks. I don't know. So I'm thinking about that. So
Yeah, it's so
hot.
funny, man. I've got a bottle in my basement. My aunt, she picked me up. She brought me a bottle and just gave me, say, here, I saw this and thought of you. It's like, oh,
Nice.
you're not thinking of me, huh? Like, I was like, oh, thank you
Yeah.
so much. But yeah, a bottle of like just hot honey. So
Yeah.
I haven't touched it yet. I've kind of looked at it a few times, like, so it's funny you
Yeah.
say that. So, I do like one thing I've been kind of looking at as soon as I get back, man. I really want to do, um, like maybe I'll even use like the snake method and stuff, but kind of pulling out like a chuck roast and using some fire for effect on it, like our sweet heat,
Yeah.
and just kind of seeing like maybe I don't think I'll do a hot honey on that one. I would really want to just roll with the sweet heat by itself and just kind of let it see, because that really is not my go-to or design for like beef and stuff. So I had a ton of people were like, "Hey, you got to try it. This is what I put on." And I'm like, "All right." So I'm gonna get back
Yeah.
and hopefully dive into that and play a little bit.
Okay. Good. Good. Yeah, we should have a little bit more cooking done here coming up. But we got our competition coming up, our fundraiser, our fifth
Mhm.
annual backyard bash at Explorer and Brew Pub coming up here August 31st. Excited for that. We got 19 teams, Ben. So one away from a full slate because we're going to cap it at 20. So we'll see if anybody else is interested. It's going to be a good time out there. We're going to have raffles. We're going to have drinks. We're going to have some veteran-owned businesses out there, all raising money for Fisher House, Wisconsin. And yes, we will have some of our maple whiskey sauce out there for purchase. Um, Hopefully, you get there soon, early enough so where there's some left over, because that goes pretty quick. Um, but yeah, man. So meetings this week to finalize all the details, but we're looking good. So when you come back, we make some more sauce and you can get
Yeah,
some grilling in. Yeah.
yeah. It's that's the plan, man. Get the grill rolling, do what I got to do for that, and then start rolling in the sauce. So,
All right, man. Well, that's all I got for today.
yeah.
But enjoy the last week out there in Rhode Island, and
Thanks, man.
we'll talk more next week.
All right. Sounds good, buddy. Take
All
it
right.
easy.
Cheers.